Mark Levine, Excel Bradshaw Management Group. So today I wanted to touch upon petroleum bulk storage certificates. These are for buildings that are storing any petroleum-based products on their premises, and what you'll often see is, oftentimes the case is an oil tank that is either above ground or below ground and is still in use. So if you're a building that is either operating fully on oil, or maybe you have an interruptible system that runs on oil and also gas, depending on the temperature and also the pricing, this is really going to apply to you. And it's really important because I see a lot of buildings that allow their registration to expire, and if you let it lapse and you're still having an active tank on the premises, that's huge fines that could be brought down upon you by a DEC. So it's really important that you do check and you do nail down that you are currently registered and you are abiding by the terms of the law. So in this case, let's go through the different issues that you may find and what these petroleum bulk storage certificates actually do have. So if you do have an oil tank on the premises in your building, you should have this. This is the petroleum bulk storage. This was actually sent to us from DEC when we were updating one of our new properties located in Murray Hill. And one of the two things that I do when I take over a property, the very first thing is I take care of the multiple dwelling registration just to make sure that I'm, as Exo Bradshaw, we are the registered agent. The board is the board, and it tells you who the different people that are on the property are. But this is the second thing that I do. I always make sure that if a building has an oil tank, I search it out and I want to see when their expiration date is. This one expires actually in 2017. So because I was just amending it with my information now, taking it over from the old firm and making sure that all of the contact information is right, the product stored is right, they'll send it to you for free as long as you send it back to them. So let's go through what this has on it. It has a tank number. Some properties do have more than one tank, so you'll see tank. It could be identified as number 1, number 100, whatever the tank number is. You'll have on there the tank location. Is it above ground in contact with the soil? Is it above ground with a barrier between the soil and the actual storage tank? Is it below ground? How is it done? The date installed is one thing. This was installed in 1941, and it's the original tank that's still there. The tank type, what is it made of? This one in this case is steel, carbon steel, or iron. The product stored, number 2, number 4 is generally what is out there if you're still using an oil product. Number 6 is no longer legal in New York City. So if you're looking to get a boiler registration and you're still running on number 6, you just can't do it anymore. So talk to your boiler company about converting down to number 4 or number 2. I've gone through this before, but if you are on number 4 now, you're eventually going to have to go out to number 2 in 10, 15, 20 years. So that's something to look at too. So if you are spending the money right now and converting from number 6 to something else, it may not be worth it for you to go from number 6 to number 4, go to number 2 directly. The capacity of gallons. So this is going to play into how much do we have to pay every 5 years. This particular tank is 5,000 gallons in this case, but I have some notes here that say what the fees are. So if you're 0 to 1,100 gallons, there's no filing fee. You just have to make sure that it is kind of updated every 5 years. You're still going to have to go through the process of nailing down all the paperwork and making sure that DEC has it on file and that it is correct. 1,101 gallons to 2,000 gallons, that's $100 per facility. So per tank, you're going to be doing that. 2,001 gallons to 4,999 gallons, that's $300 a facility. And 5,000 gallons to 399,999, that's $500 a facility. So in this case, I'm at 5,000 gallons, so I'm just at that $500 mark for every 5 years. And considering it's $100 a year, as long as it's filed on time, that makes a big difference. It's better than a $20,000 fine from DEC that you really don't have much wiggle room to get out of. So super important. Of all of the filings, I always like to say to potential clients, if you're going into a property and I'm doing my research before I get to the interview and I see that your multiple dwelling registration is expired and I see that your petroleum bulk storage certificate is expired, that's always the first sign of trouble. These are the easy things. These are administrative things. What else is behind the curtain that we're not looking at, and we really should nail down how your building is operating. But this is as I said, this is just paperwork. So just make sure it's there. So petroleum bulk storage, every 5 years, you can check online, you could search, you could go Google search. I'll put it in my blog post when I do that. I'll also put it in the description of the video where you could search for your building. If you're on gas only, you don't have to worry about this, but there's a caveat to that. I would say that if you were operating on oil and you switched over to gas, make sure that DEC knows that that tank is inactive, because if they still have it as an active tank, and you've expired, they're going to just assume that you're still operating on that oil. So you do have to close that out, and a closeout should be the same as a revisement of your actual certificate and should be free of cost. So that is a very helpful tip. I hope that you could have some use out of that. If you want to email me, my email is mblevine@ebmg.com. Again, my name is Mark Levine. I look forward to hearing from everybody, and I do get a lot of questions, and I answer just as quickly to you guys as I do to my clients, and I take pride in that. So if you ever have any questions whatsoever, use me as kind of a free ear or a free words of wisdom. Hopefully in this property management field, I've been doing it for 20 years, so I hope that I can help. If you want to like us on Facebook, you can find us at facebook.com/XOBradshaw. On Twitter and on Instagram, we are at XOBradshaw, trying to make it easier across all of the social media platforms. So if you seek us out, and you can talk to us that way also, it doesn't just have to be by email. We would love to hear from you. So that's it. Until next time.